eat excrement, and then promptly assume room temperature. It's Sunday, December 3rd, 2020. Episode 031. If you're keeping score, you are about to go down the rabbit hole with Joe and Brian. I'm Brian. With me, as always, is my good friend Joe. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
Doing pretty good. I've had like the time equivalent of finding a $20 bill that you didn't know you had. Because I took Monday off this week. I've apparently been behind all week.
That's great.
I literally was kind of shocked this morning when I noticed on my phone that it said Thursday, and I was like, Thursday? I thought it was Wednesday. I thought it was Wednesday. I missed trash day. So
that's the worst. Is your place piling
up? No, it's a good thing. I don't generate a lot of trash, so I can survive. Missing a week. But yeah. So tomorrow, Friday, F1 is on again. So I got that to look forward to. Yeah.
Say,
go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that. Because we talked about the F1 race last week, and you said that Mr. Hamilton always wins, and I'm like, is it that he's that much better of a racer, or is this car that much faster? But we can talk about that.
Here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up because I've wanted to. The last two times we've mentioned F1 or Lewis Hamilton, I've wanted to mention this. There's no doubt he's the best racer in F1 today, without a doubt he is. But also Mercedes, the car he drives, the manufacturer that he drives for, Mercedes is also without a doubt the best car in F1. And a quick thing, Formula One, the formula, as I understand it, the formula in Formula One is the strict set of guidelines that the governing body passes down to all the manufacturers and says, when you build your cars have to be within these guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And so if every manufacturer has the same restrictions put upon them, it's always curious why one manufacturer is always, it's not even there's no question about it. Mercedes is, if all things being equal and it's just a day at the races and there's no wrecks, the weather is decent, you can almost guarantee that Mercedes is going to be on the front row of the grid.
So is it that their cars are that much faster? Is it that
they're fast? They're that much faster. But I don't want to take away from Lewis Hamilton because he's got there's two people that race for Mercedes, and they presumably have the exact same car, and yet Hamilton consistently beats him.
He comes out ahead of the other guy.
Yeah, so but I've always wondered what would happen if you took Lewis Hamilton and you put him in a and these are just some of these are I'm gonna I don't expect you to recognize these names, but a Haas or a Racing Point. These are some of the cars that always consistently finishes last.
Haas?
So yeah, Haas.
I've never heard of them.
I'm not sure if it's someone's last name or not,
It probably is.
But yeah, I'd like to see how that would go. But as of right now, yeah, Lewis Hamilton is um, and you know he's won the most world championships now, so he's no doubt a great racer. And aside from my his social justice tendencies, he's you can't hate the guy when you hear him talk and you hear him interview. He comes across as the most humble person you'd ever meet. So I can't really hate the guy, but F1 has not, because of him and Mercedes. F1 has not been that exciting to watch the last 2 or 3 years. Interestingly though, and it's interesting that this happened after he secured the championship. He tested positive with the COVID.
He did?
He's not racing this weekend. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, yeah. I always wondered, because I'm like, wait a second. If this guy's so good, how much of it is the car, and how much of it is that he's got that that split-second reaction, cat-like reflexes, that he zigs when the other guy zags, and that's the difference between the winner's circle and everybody else.
He literally is. He is a great racer. You can't take it away from him.
Does it break your heart or sadden you
that he's out? That he's going to be? That he's not racing tomorrow?
Well, that he's that much better, and as a result, it's been boring to watch.
Well, yes. Although I am Red Bull. Red Bull is looking very strong towards the last half of this season. Red Bull has been looking really strong, and I think next year they're implementing all new chassis, like different car designs, and I don't know. We'll see. Red Bull's number one driver, Max. His name's Max Verstappen. I've been watching him since he first came in as a rookie, and he's a future champion for sure. He will probably assume Lewis Hamilton's role as a champion when it's his turn, because he's that good of a driver as well. And Red Bull. 5 or 6 years ago, Red Bull was the dominant car as well. So maybe they'll find that magic again, and the F1 will start being competitive. I don't know. They got to do something, I think, because they know. I mean, it's almost a joke now that it's just not been F1 just hasn't been that fun to watch, because you can guarantee that it's always going to be a Mercedes 1-2 finish almost every time. So, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I kind of got us off track.
Oh, I love. I'll take any opportunity to talk about F1.
I know that's the problem.
Oh. Well, fine, Joe. With that.
Motherfucker. Give me two fingers of Southern Comfort.
Whoa, Joe, there's echo in there.
Yeah, that's the first.
Don't know what that's about.
Well, tell me what it should have sounded like.
Motherfucker, bring me 2 fingers of Southern Comfort.
Oh, that sounds about right. What are you having, man?
Let me try that again. That bothers me.
Motherfucker, Give me 2 fingers of Southern comfort.
Yeah, that was clear as a bell.
Yeah, I think it might have been because you talked over it, maybe. I don't know. I there's so from the beginning there's been this known issue with these kinds of soundboards. So I don't know. But, anyway, what are you drinking, Joe?
Well, I'm having a passion. Sorry, a passion fruit margarita.
Okay.
But I got the what's this stuff called, tequila and some passion
Yeah,
fruit, and it
I've
tastes
heard of
about like
tequila.
I mean, it's a pity that we don't have more passion fruit here in the States.
Mm. You like it, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, have you ever had passion fruit juice?
Oh, I'm sure that I have. I don't know if I've ever had straight passion fruit, but they're, you know how juice manufacturers have this, they can't just,
Oh
they have to
yeah, like
mix
pretty much
everything.
everything has like apple and grapefruit juice mixed into it.
Yeah, like I wanted to buy some a while back. I wanted to get some pineapple juice, but I had to settle for pineapple and mango because
Hmm.
that's all they had. I was like, what's wrong with just regular juice?
What do you mean regular juice? By regular juice, I assume you mean orange juice.
No, I mean just why do you got to mix juices? Sell me pineapple, sell me mango,
Oh
sell
well, I
me
mean,
whatever, but I don't need my juices mixed.
well they do that because some fruit juices are cheaper to produce than others. So for example, like apple juice must be dirt cheap because you never see them mix. You never see them like adulterating apple juice with stuff. But like I guess other juices where it is more expensive to produce, they want to cut it with apple juice and grape juice to make it go further. I guess.
Well, you know what? I'll pay the extra quarter to just give me what I want.
Yeah, I want my juice, damn it.
Yeah. Well, as promised, I have this is about 3 fingers of Captain Morgan's Private Select.
3 fingers.
Yeah,
My
you know.
God. Do you want to survive the night?
Yeah, well, you know, what I wanted enough that uh, I wouldn't, when I was done, I wouldn't be wanting to run back and get some more.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'll sip on this throughout the evening and should be good.
There you go, winning.
Mm. Ah, good stuff, good stuff.
So what's on tap today?
Well, um, for all of our YouTube peoples out there, the obligatory like, subscribe, share. I don't know if you got the last episode's video posted or not yet, Joe, but I put some, you know how the videos have been having like pictures in them every 5 minutes they change.
Yes.
I added a couple pictures of Roman Grosjean's wreck, F1 wreck from last weekend to those.
Yeah,
Everybody.
I have not been able to post it, but I will make sure I fell down.
Oh, that's no biggie. But yeah, please like, subscribe, share. I'd like to see YouTube numbers increase if at all possible. And I also I don't want to make a habit of this, but it's also fun to do is responding to some more feedback that we got from last week's show.
Feedback.
Yeah, feedback. We're not going to make a habit of this or make it a section. I don't think. Maybe we will. I don't know.
Well,
It's
I
good
mean,
show content. It's good content.
It is great content. It makes us more interesting to listen to, and we also get a female perspective.
That's true.
And
And I think
she thinks in ways that neither of us would think of, and so I think yeah, that's always a good time.
yeah, in a female perspective, I think item number one here. I hate boxing.
Well,
I get that sentiment, but I would only the only thing I would say to that, because I do understand, just two big brutes in a ring and beating the hell out of each other. I get it, but there is an art. I will say there is an art to boxing, and when you watch someone who is taught in the proper boxing techniques, um, and you're watching for it, it really is. It is much more fun to watch because um, an example, last week's that one of the undercards from the Tyson Jones fight was he's like this YouTube star. I don't Paul Logan
oh
or
yeah,
Jake
Logan.
Logan or something like that. Yeah, he fought this guy. I guess he's an ex NBA player.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that, and he beat him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he beat him, and he beat him simply because he had been trained, and he's taken. I mean, this was his second fight. I had heard him interviewed once before. Adam Carolla interviewed him, and Adam Carolla is an ex-boxer as well. And so
Really?
you're, yeah, that's what he used to. He used to. He used to teach boxing when he was trying to make ends meet before he got famous. But he was really when he was interviewing him, he was really really talking to him about it, and he could tell that he was taking it serious. He wasn't just doing it for the giggles. He was like serious about it, and I guess he won his first fight with a knockout. Um, and he knocked this guy out as well, and it was simply because he had technique, and this other guy thought that he would, because maybe because he could kick someone's butt in the streets, that he would just go into the ring and do it again, and it
Yeah,
didn't
I
work
don't.
that way. He
Yeah,
got
I
this guy
don't
just
think
took
the
him
guy
apart.
that was a professional basketball player was scrapping in the streets and thought he'd just throw some gloves on.
Well, whatever reason he thought that he could just jump in the ring and beat up this kid, I don't know, but uh,
Now,
it didn't
now,
happen because he
now,
was.
what? Logan, he's like what, 23 years old?
I'm not sure.
What was
I
his
mean,
name?
that sounds about right. I mean,
Well, what was his name again? Paul Logan.
I don't know, Paul or Jake. For
Yeah,
some, I think there's two of them.
yeah. There are the Logan brothers, and I know one of them almost got run off the internet for visiting some Japanese suicide
Suicide,
forest,
forest. Hmm.
and then the other one is, I guess, is the younger brother, or the other brother.
Right.
So, but yeah, so and hey, I wouldn't have signed up to box because I don't like to fight or get punched in the face. But hey, yeah, some people do.
Um, number two here. Ford won first, second, and third. Remember, they brought them in together. I do remember, and this is the thing. I went back and because I mentioned that even though they crossed the lines, they crossed the line first. That there was some technicality that Ford ended up losing to
Yeah, something about
McLaren.
the timing you said.
It's not about the time, and that's so I went back and I rewatched the end of that race, and it was hard. They didn't make it clear. It was hard for me to follow, and so I went to Wikipedia and I looked up the 1966 Le Mans, and and I'll just read. I'll read it, and even reading this, I don't know that it makes any sense, but this is the reason that I said what I said last week. It says here, The McLaren, which is the car, McLaren Ammon, and the Miles Hume cars, and Miles, that was the guy that Christian Bale portrayed was the Miles driver, were running within seconds of each other as the race neared its end, with the Bucknam Hutcherson car hanging back as insurance. A decision was made in the Ford pits to have the cars finish side by side in what hopefully would be considered a dead heat. All three cars went over the finish in formation, but any chance for a dead heat disappeared when officials discovered a rule that in case of a tie, the car that had started further down the grid had traveled the further distance. Since McLaren and Ammon had started 60 feet behind Miles and Hulme, they were declared the winners. So, I don't know. That's still not entirely clear, but
Well, that makes sense to me.
Okay.
Because so whichever car started further back, they assume that car covered more ground than the car that started further up. And so,
yeah.
And that
but here's my confusion. My confusion, and I think this is what her confusion was as well, is I thought that the way that reads is that Ford finished in a dead heat with McLaren. But as I understood it from the movie, and maybe the movie just, I don't know, maybe this was a liberty that the movie took, but I can't imagine that they would have done it. But I was under the impression that Ford had three cars in the race, and all three of the Ford cars finished in that formation. So I don't know.
So I mean,
I guess I need to pay closer attention the next time I watch it. But,
yeah, movies taking liberties on topics that people aren't likely to go and look up for themselves. They do that.
Yeah, I hear that, but I don't know. This is so. I mean, this is like historic. This would be like the movies saying that we lost
World War II
or something like that. I use and this is I use supper for dinner. I said dinner for lunch, which is exactly what I said. And she said that from Nebraska. I said we're both Hicks. Well, I am certainly a Hick as well. But the one thing that we never, I can't believe I didn't mention, but what about the The Last Supper? Where did that come? I mean, it's not the last dinner. It's the Last Supper. So, supper had to have been used at some point for something, right?
Yeah, we should look up the word supper and dinner and get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
I think
we'll do that offline. We don't bore our listeners while we're looking things up.
And so it says supper, evening meal, typically light and informal, and dinner. Doesn't even give a definition. In many modern usages, the term dinner refers to evening meal, which is now typically the largest meal of the day in Western cultures. Even when meaning is used, preceding meals are usually referred to as breakfast, lunch, and perhaps tea. Yeah, well, now we know.
Moving on. Sadly, I think executive orders should only be used in emergency situations, like pandemics. Yeah, I would agree. In fact, I don't even know when did executive orders become such a powerful weapon or
Well,
a tool. I
I'm
don't
actually
remember it all the time.
I'm actually glad that she brought this one up because we never really talked about executive orders. An executive order basically is the executive telling the agencies he's the boss of to do something.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. That's what the name says, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but yeah, we were going to get into it, but like I think we got sidetracked last week, and so a law is something that's been the Congress has voted on it, and
Hmm.
both houses of Congress have voted on it and presented it to the president, and he signed it. Executive order is basically, hey, I'm the boss. You guys are my agencies, and I'm ordering you to do this. And so,
Right.
for example, so many executive orders nowadays. But
So that clip that we listened to last week was correct, and that really an executive order can't really go and have any teeth in someone's like personal dwelling.
um, yeah, that's a question. I mean, um, we don't even know who that guy was and what his credentials were to speak on the topic at hand. But if it's something that's outside of the power of the governor to do, I'm sure there's going to be a lawsuit. It's New York, so that will be something that we'll have an answer to shortly.
Um, Gavin should never have partied. I agree, and and I think that's one of the one of my biggest issues with our rulers is that they have the um, do as I say, not as I do mentality all the time, and they seem to not even care about it. Um, I just this here just we're talking about COVID. I got some more examples here. According to the Austin American Statesman, Adler and seven Adler, I think he's the governor of Texas or the mayor of Austin, one of the two, I think.
Abbott,
Um, Adler.
Adler, right?
Uh, Adler and seven other guests at the wedding traveled on a private jet to Cabo, Mexico, the day after the wedding, where the Statesman reports the mayor recorded a video encouraging Austin residents to hunker down at home to prevent a rise in coronavirus cases. We need to stay home if you can. This is not the time to relax, he said. So, hypocrite. This week, London Breed San Francisco Mayor London Breed and California Governor Gavin Newsom found themselves in hot water. That's what we're talking about. Denver Mayor Michael Hancock also apologized on social media Monday for traveling to spend Thanksgiving with family in Mississippi after he told his constituents to stay home. In September, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi faced nationwide blowback after a trip to a hair salon that should have been closed under California state orders, which Pelosi and a hairstylist involved said was set up by a business owner angry over coronavirus closing. So it's just it's I don't know. Either these people really don't don't think that this is that big of a deal if they feel so comfortable in breaking the rules all the time, or something else. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think you can only be amped up on fear for so long before you're like, okay, well, and I think that these guys are human, and that's what it is. That's not
You
supposed to
don't
excuse it.
you don't think that they should maybe hold themselves to just a little higher standard if they're gonna presume to tell us what to do.
Maybe not a higher standard, maybe just to the standard that they want everyone else to go to.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it? They're telling us not to do all these things, and then they turn around and do them.
Hmm. I'm sure they had their reasons.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Like, I just want to do this.
What do you say to a mother whose teen son is the one who died because he had diabetes when he contracted COVID at a party? Ah, one of those tactics where you
Well,
you,
I would say
you
that
take a you make a
I would say that you as a mother are unfit. For,
no, but
yeah, that's
you
just
know it's easy. It's not fair to really take it down to like a personal case like this. Because if I say anything other than it's just setting me up to sound like a monster. If I well, that's just the way the cookie crumbles or whatever.
like,
But
yeah, like,
I would also. But if we want to make personal stories, how about the poor elderly woman who has to die alone in a nursing home because the state won't let the family in to be with her. You know, that's equally as sad. And
yeah, that's pretty
it's
sad.
easy to it's easy to come up with a personal anecdotal type stories to make a point, but it's not really. I try not to. Um,
Really, Brian?
I do try not to.
Alright.
Um, this is a worldwide pandemic. If the cases spike after Thanksgiving, I think there will be a statewide lockdown. That's all I can say is.
Yeah. I don't think there'll be state I think there'll be more county-wide lockdowns.
Joan, the soundboard, can't do echoes. And this is in response to last week my sound effect on the fly. Skullduggery. You know what? This soundboard can do a ton of stuff. I mean, I'm looking at the interface of it, and there's like a million options, and I use just enough to play clips. So it probably could do echoes, but I have no idea how to do it. I gotta say this is probably one of the ugliest user interfaces that I've ever seen. It was definitely designed by a programmer and not a designer, because this is really maybe I'll try to take a screenshot and post it, because this is one clunky user interface. It looks like an interface from the 90s.
Wait a second. So you can look at something and be like, yeah, a programmer designed this interface, not a designer.
Yeah. I said, but I used to. I had a friend a long time ago when me and this guy that I knew would we did some website business for a while. I would be the programmer. He was able to make beautiful designs on the computer. He'd use like Photoshop to make pretty websites, and then I'd cut them up and make them functional and do things. And so whenever I would make a web application or a website on my own, he would always say, "Yep, looks like that was designed by a programmer," implying that it was ugly, which it was, but it was functional. I'm all about the function. I'm all about the functionality. Why aren't you talking about the presidential election and Biden being the winner, and all the idiotic recounts that are working in Biden's favor? I'll be honest, because I'm not paying attention right now. I don't trust anyone's news right now. I'm just going to wait until it's all said and done, and then when it's over, and I think the final word is going to be from the Supreme Court.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't heard the Supreme Court be engaged. I know they asked him to look into stuff, but I don't think,
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not paying attention, so I'm sick. I don't want to. I'm sick of hearing the stories from the right, and I don't really, and all I hear from the left is the gloating, and so
Gloating.
I'm just not paying attention, but the right and the theories that they've come up with is just as laughable and hard to listen to. So I'm just going to wait till it's all over, and then I'll discuss it, and I'm sure, and if it ends up that, and regardless, Biden's not president until January 20th. So um, if he ends up on January 20th taking the oath of office and he's our president, I'm sure that there's going to be plenty of things that you and I will talk about.
Hmm.
Um, do you want to comment, or shall I move on?
Oh no, I don't.
Okay.
I uh, I,
Um,
I have been following it, following the, as various decisions come down, all of them uniformly against Trump. So if he's going to pull this out, the window for doing that is getting smaller and smaller as more federal and state courts come back with decisions that don't support Trump's position.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that we have affected the outcome of elections in other countries?
As in you and I,
Yes, Joe, you and I. Did we affect the outcomes of maybe Iraq or something like that?
probably.
No, the United States. Have we? Do you think that the United States government has affected the outcomes of elections in other countries?
Well, if we have it, yeah, that would be a thing if we have it.
So we have the capability of doing it.
Oh, yeah, we definitely do. I
Okay.
mean, you don't have the largest military in the world and not have the ability to affect events.
Okay. So we can do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
well within our wheelhouse of capabilities.
Ring is like having cameras. Ring is like having cameras everywhere, kind of like iPhones. Absolutely. Yeah, we can't not. Yeah, I made the comment about how we're creating our own closed circuit TV, but we're also carrying around our own little tracking devices. So um, yeah,
Yeah, so the
and
next time that
machines
you
that
think you can do something shady and get away with it because no one else saw you there,
yeah, forget about
yeah, no one needed to see you there.
it. And
Quick question. If,
yeah, yeah.
if you came across somebody who did not have a cell phone, they're like, yeah, I don't own
hmm
a cell phone. Like, how noteworthy slash shady would that be in your book?
Mm, Um, I I don't know. I have two things. My mom doesn't have My mom has uh, she has a dumb phone, or what they call them, not dumb
Yeah,
phones, but
pre a
it's
pre smartphone.
yeah, pre smartphone. That's all she has.
No,
Um,
but yeah, a pre
but
smartphone, that's
I know.
okay. I'm saying that
Yeah,
somebody who doesn't have a cell phone at all.
right. Yeah, that's. Yeah, someone either hardcore wants to stay off the grid, or someone's hardcore doing some shady stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. They can only be, yeah.
I um I have they uh, Nokia a few years ago released their I can't think of the version of it, but it was like their popular, they called it candy bar phones, and this was back before, before smartphones and everything. But they sold them for like $75, and I picked up some, and I used that for about a month as my primary phone, and I would have used it. I'd still use it today as my only phone, except um, my number one form of communication now isn't talking but texting, and it's just you remember when you had to like punch 3 buttons. You know, if you wanted to hit a type of C, you had to hit the
Your
one
A,
button like
B,
3 times, stuff like
C.
that. Yeah. And then of course the lack of like multimedia, being able to send pictures and stuff. But if um, I liked it. I mean, I liked having that phone for the time that I used it, but ended up just didn't make the cut.
Why not?
Like I said, I communicate. Everyone wants to communicate over text,
Oh, fair enough.
not talking. So, and finally, privacy is gone. Can we take it back? Well, privacy is gone, and if we get it, we're going to have to take it because they're not going to give it back to us. That's the one thing. When you lose freedoms, they never, you don't get them back. Look at the things that we lost from the Patriot Act after 9/11, and we're never gonna get those back. And that's kind of like what bothers me about this, man, is we're giving away these freedoms in the name of being protected, and I'm just afraid that this is and I kind of roll my eyes all the time when I hear people say this, but I really think it's setting a bad precedent, and you know, but the world our rulers have seen just how obedient we are. That they've made us. I mean, look at the sacrifices that we've made, and to be safe, I guess.
I think the rulers probably always knew how obedient we were because, I'm not surprised that how things have turned out because once you have people that are scared, they'll pretty much fall in the line. Like one thing I've realized is that clear thinking goes out the window when fear takes over, and that's pretty. That makes all the sense in the world when you think about it.
It does. It does. Well, Joe, we've had this on the agenda for I think the last 2 shows, and for some reason we've never talked about it. And this is a good time to talk about it because it's really becoming a hot topic, and that's vaccines.
Oh, vaccines.
Vaccines. They're getting ready to.
Now, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember when the very first, when the very first vaccine that came out, that say it was like, what, 90%, I think it was Pfizer, 90% effective. I remember the stock market, jumped, 700 points or something like that, something ridiculous. But at the same time, well, wait a second, let me take a step back. What do we know about the vaccines?
I don't know a whole lot about them. I don't have any articles here. I listed this as just something for us to discuss because I don't know.
Okay. Well,
I have some clips. I do have some clips to talk about vaccines, but what I wanted to talk about was: are you going to take? If one comes out, are you going to take it?
Well, yeah, I was getting to that. Let me do a quick rundown. Two companies came out with vaccines. Was it Pfizer and Moderna?
Yes.
And Pfizer came out like a couple of days after the election, and people were actually thinking that that they did that so that it would hurt Trump. Because they probably knew before election day that it was going to be that the news was going well, but they didn't. And the other one's Moderna that came out like maybe 2-3, maybe a week later, and once again, 90, 95, very high efficacious rate, as in when you put it into people, it works. And so, as you were alluding to, am I going to take it?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I've yet to find anyone who said that they will take it. And so,
Do you? Oh, every up until COVID, everyone talked every year. We talked about the flu vaccine. Have you taken the flu vaccines each
yes,
in the
I have
past
taken the
years?
flu vaccines. In
Like
fact, this is the
religiously
first year in a
every year you
while
do?
that I haven't taken the flu vaccine.
Okay.
You take it?
No, I've never taken it.
Hmm.
Now, and I don't have any plans on taking this either. However, what happens if what what happens if you end up in a situation where grocery stores won't let you in unless you can prove that you're vaccinated?
You know,
Or what happens if you can't go to work unless you prove that you're vaccinated? I mean,
I,
I guess I'm taking it in.
I've been thinking about this, and I think there is more than a little bit of space for them to say, "Yeah, you got to take this vaccination,"
Yeah.
because we already do it with kids when they go to school,
Yep. That's right.
and so and part of me says, you know, things like vaccinations and medicine. That's kind of what separates us from, that kind of that's one of the things that makes us civilized. So, for example, we don't worry about polio anymore because
Mm-hmm.
there's an answer for that, and that answer isn't perfect, but it's better than having the scourge of waking up and not being able to walk. If that makes sense.
Sure.
And so, I mean, I think it's one of those things where, yeah, because of the way the vaccines were just were pretty much put together in less than a year. I mean, so this COVID hit in March, and we are now. I mean, the vaccine came out in November. So was that what 7 months, 7 8 months?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I mean, so we went from, oh my goodness, there's this new disease that we've never experienced before, to, oh, we've got a cure that's 90% effective. Um, that's amazing, but yeah, it's amazing, but not amazing enough for me to go, yeah, like let me stand in line to get this vaccine. No.
I'm not going to be the first one to get it.
Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. I'll probably be one of the last ones to get it.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I've yet to meet anyone that says, "Yeah, I'm raring to take it. I'm just chomping at the bit to take this vaccine." That I've not met that person yet, and so a, a lot of the forecasts about, like, how the economy is going to perform, a lot of that's predicated on a significant portion of people taking it. But once again, I haven't met them.
Well, I don't know when Bill Gates became Dr. Bill Gates, but he's everywhere now. He is almost like his name is synonymous with vaccines.
Oh, it is.
Um, let's see. Let's see what he has to say.
Bill, the data showed that everybody with a high dose had a side effect.
Yeah, but some of that is not dramatic, where it's just super painful. But yes, we need to make sure there's not severe side effects. The FDA, I think, will do a good job of that, despite the pressure.
Super painful.
Yeah.
I've heard that there's going to be, and I've heard that you're going to have to take 2 doses like a week apart. I think that I've heard that was.
See, I've heard more. I've heard that it'd be like 28 days apart, and that your immunity won't really actually take place until 28 days after the second dosage. And then there's the question of once you have the once you have your immunity, how long do you have it for? Is it one of those things where you have it for life, or you need like a booster in 10 years? But those are my understanding. Those are pretty much questions that accompany any type of vaccine, anything that's going to be in your system long term and supposed to change the way your body reacts to stuff.
Well, these clips, I don't know about you, but that clip sounded awfully like horrible quality to me, and I'm hoping that it's just the way that we're hearing it, but it's going to come through on the recording fine.
I'm sure it will. It came through loud and clear for me.
Did it? Okay, it sounded all robotic-y for me, so if you heard it good, then that makes me hopeful. Here's CBS pressures Bill Gates on. So let's take a listen.
Moderna vaccines sound concerning. We looked. After the second dose, at least 80% of participants experienced a systemic side effect, ranging from severe chills to fevers. So, are these vaccines safe?
Well, the FDA, not being pressured, will look hard at that. The FDA is the gold standard of regulators, and their current guidance on this, if they stick with that, is very, very appropriate. And the side effects were not super severe. That is, it didn't cause permanent health problems for the things there. Moderna did have to go with a fairly high dose, and so to get the antibodies. Some of the other vaccines are able to go with lower doses to get responses that are pretty high, including the J&J and the Pfizer. And so there's a lot of characteristics of these vaccines. It's great that we have multiple of them that are
Bill,
going out there. And yes, I think
you know the data better than I do. But the data showed that everybody with a high dose had a side effect.
Yeah, but some of that is not dramatic, where it's just super painful. But yes, we need to make sure there's not severe side effects. The FDA, I think, will do a good job of that, despite the pressure.
Two quick things.
Yes.
One thing neither of us thought to ask. I wonder if Bill's gonna shoot up any of these vaccines himself.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. Before we got on air tonight, I was after I got off work, and while I was waiting for you to get home, I seen some headlines that was like Obama, Bill Gates, and maybe one other person was going to record themselves getting the shots, which my mind went immediately to they're just going to get placebos or something like that. But maybe not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if I want to see a reporter ask Bill if he's going to shoot up and if he's going to shoot it into his kids too. That would give me confidence.
Yeah.
And the other thing I heard about is that one of these two vaccines, I don't remember if it's the Moderna or the Pfizer, requires to be stored at negative 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So,
good Lord.
Yeah, I'm imagining like maybe that's the one that's painful because
because you're injecting ice into you.
Yeah, they're injecting beyond ice, like
right.
Yeah, 70 degrees below zero. That's really, really cold. And so, and I'm trying to imagine does anything?
What is dry ice temperature? Do you know?
Don't know, but we can use the interwebs.
Yeah. Have you ever accidentally touched dry ice?
Nope, never accidentally.
Oh,
On purpose
ugh,
once, but
on purpose. So then you know how it's ridiculous.
yeah. You see here.
Well, while you're doing that, I got a clip here. I can't. It says there may be side effects. If this is, I'm going to stop this short. If this is just more reiteration of what we've heard, but let's see what.
Now, this happening as several companies race to get a vaccine approved, but early trials show you may need to prepare for side effects. Liza Lucas joins us from the bridge. And Liza, these side effects are expected to be mild, but could really impact your daily life.
Yes, it depends on how you react and how you take that feeling of feeling crummy, because that is what the early data is suggesting, that several of these vaccines may make you feel crummy for a couple of days, and then you got to go and get that second dose. Pfizer is likely most others will require 2 doses to work. The injections must be given weeks apart according to company protocols. Now, scientists anticipate that the shots will cause you to feel drained, perhaps flu-like side effects, including sore arms, muscle aches, and fever. The effects could last days and temporarily sideline some people from work or school. Experts believe broad outreach on the vaccine is going to be necessary. And in fact, we've been monitoring how people would feel when it comes to taking that vaccine, the willingness rather to be vaccinated for COVID-19. A recent Gallup poll showing only half of Americans were ready to take it, half not so much.
So what's the word on dry ice, Joe?
What was that?
I said, what's the word on dry ice?
78.5 degrees below zero. Sorry, negative 78.5 degrees centigrade, which is what 109.3 negative degrees Fahrenheit. So it's
not that much colder than that vaccine.
No, the vaccine was 70 degrees. Oh, no, that's colder.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So, but yeah, so when they're shooting, something that's not quite as cold as friggin' dry ice into you, yeah, I'd imagine there's going to be a side effect or two. Wait a second. I'm sorry, dude. Did you ever tell us what you're drinking tonight?
Yeah. The private select.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I knew that. I don't know why It's been a long week, guys.
Yeah.
What do you got next?
It's let me say, of all the jobs out there, I would not want to be a Iranian nuclear scientist.
Yeah, that just sounds like one of those jobs that could have a, yeah.
Yeah, this is a new story. This is a brand new story that you found, but I've heard stories not exactly like this, but I mean, Iranian scientists get knocked off on a regular all the time. I mean, it's like part of the job. It's just like part of the job, man.
I wonder.
I mean, it's like Israel does not want them to get nuclear technology, and they're willing to kill every last scientist in that country to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I wonder if you can get life insurance if your job was Iranian nuclear scientist.
Wouldn't the rates would be so high?
But if you were an Iranian scientist, nuclear scientist, you'd be willing to pay it, right?
Well, that's yeah. I hope you have like the choice. I hope that they didn't identify, little, and I'm not being, culturally bad or anything, but just little Ahmed as being like a really smart kid when he was young, and so they groomed him to become a scientist, and the poor kid never had the option.
Yeah.
Uh,
Little Ahmed would come to a horrible end. Iran's top nuclear scientist was assassinated by a remote-controlled machine gun placed in the back of another car, the country media said. Iran's top...
let's think about that. I mean, that's so. I mean, it's obviously not science fiction, but wow. Proceed, sir. Proceed.
Yeah, Iran's top nuclear scientist was killed by a remote-controlled machine gun, the country's semi-official Fars news agency reported. Mohsen Fakhrizadeh,
Yeah,
I
that's
butchered
it.
his name, who was seen as a father of Iran's nuclear program, was killed while driving with his wife in security convoy near Tehran on Friday. Farr said the gun was mounted in the back of a Nissan truck that self-detonated after a 3-minute attack. Iran has blamed Israel. Ali Shamahani, Iran's top national security official, told on Monday said the hit was conducted using electronic equipment and there was nobody on the scene, suggesting the weapon was remotely controlled. That's pretty bad when they're killing you from afar using a.
That's bad. I mean, that's first thing that jumped out was Nissan, the preferred truck of the preferred truck of all Middle East terrorists.
No. Well, I mean, that was an intelligence agency that did that. But anyway, everybody knows that terrorists prefer Toyota. You remember when?
Is it Toyota? I thought it was Nissan. Maybe it is Toyota.
You remember when? What was it? ISIS was taking over everything, and you see them.
Yeah.
Driving around like white.
Were they driving around in Toyotas? Is that
white Toyota trucks as far as the eye can see, like they.
Well, my apologies to Nissan, man. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I'll go back.
They make good cars. But then it's that's so awesome though that after all that, then it blows itself up.
Yeah. Take me alive, never.
That's pretty wicked.
Thing is that that thing's probably been sat there, I mean, and in order for you to pull off something like this, you have to have a pretty good idea where that guy's going to be and a pretty good idea when he's going to be there. And so they've probably been planning this for 6 months or so. 6 months to a year.
I'm positive somebody they had inside intelligence that tipped them off. I'm sure of that.
So what's the moral of the story, boys and girls? Like
be a nuclear scientist in Iran.
For Iran. That's not a job that comes with a retirement package, because you may not be around to get it.
Yeah. This is a story I brought. This is. It's entirely possible that I'm just. There's no need for me to even really bring this up, other than that I don't know. This is concerning a woman named Sarah Fuller. I guess she made the Vanderbilt men's football team. She made their special teams. She was on their special teams.
Go girl power.
Yeah. And so I believe that in the she took the opening kickoff of the second half against the Tigers as her perfectly executed kick sailed 30 yards and was down at the Missouri 35-yard line. There is nothing more average than that when it comes to college football kicks. There's absolutely nothing special about that. However, she was named the SEC Special Teams Player of the Week for this absolutely mediocre kick, and of course it's more virtue signaling. I get it. But
am I sensing hate over there, Brian?
There's no hate at all, man. There's none at all. But
I mean, but she was I'm assuming she's the very first woman to have ever kicked a football in an NCAA football game.
I don't know that she was the first, but their team. I mean, the team she's on, Vanderbilt. They ended up losing by 41. The kick had no impact on the game, and the kick was there's nothing spectacular about the kick. It was just a kick, and yet. But it's
Brian,
I don't know, man.
Brian.
I know. Stop me. Just stop me.
You weren't there, man. I'm sure the crowd, it probably was a kick that made everybody's life better. And, had you been there, you would be singing her praises as well.
I know, Joe. I know.
Well, I'm glad we got that settled.
Yeah. I feel like I want to say more, but
no, Brian. What do you want to say? I mean,
there's nothing.
Nobody's listening.
Right. Well, look, just between you and me and the couple listeners out there, let me tell you, no. I don't know, but I would seriously. If I was her, I would be embarrassed by this. Because she's getting this recognition for no other reason than that she's a woman. Period. It has nothing to do with her skill or anything. She's a woman who.
Well, no. I mean, like, how many other women do you think can kick a football 35, 30 yards?
Probably more than you think. I mean, it's not like. I mean, it's someone's holding a football and you just run up and kick it, and 30 yards is not that far.
Well, yeah. All I know is that if I try to kick a football, it wouldn't go very far.
I bet you could. After a couple of practice kicks, you could do it beyond 30 yards. And I know she can do it beyond 30 yards, but I'm just saying this is a non-story if it wasn't other than that she's a woman. And if I was her, I would be embarrassed that they make this kind of a big deal out of something like this.
Well, do you think that perhaps that the reason they had her out to kick the ball because they were like, yeah, we not only lost this one, but there's no reviving it, and so might as well hey coach, put her in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if it was a close game or if it was a game that they felt they had a chance to win, she wouldn't have played.
I don't know, Brian. I think that you are pissing on all the hope of little girls who want to throw on some pads and kick footballs.
I am that bastard.
Well, one of us had to be.
Yeah. So, all this is leading up to a bigger conversation. I just don't know when we want to have it yet, but I seen that and it called out to my more sinister side, and I had to bring it up.
Ryan has a sinister side?
I believe so.
Yeah, do so, man.
So, are you familiar, Joe, with OnlyFans, the website OnlyFans?
OnlyFans. Isn't that where you get like personalized porn?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that, but
From what I gather, it's I don't know if it's porn or not. It may be, but I know that. Oh, go ahead.
well, it's not. Well, it's one of those things where, yeah, yes, it's not personalized porn isn't the only application of it, but it's probably the most popular and widely used, application of the OnlyFans platform. And my understanding is that people set up an account and they're saying, hey, if you want, it's like pay per view social media.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good description, I think.
Yeah, and so yeah, pay per view social media, and for fortunately or unfortunately, a good portion of the people who are using it are people who are making money off their looks and their sex appeal. So that's my understanding of it. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right.
So do you think I mean if we did not have the COVID, do you think fans only or only fans could have ever like gotten off the ground?
Because of its explicit content, yes,
Fair enough.
but
Yeah.
I think that the lockdown definitely made it happen with a quickness. You know.
Yeah. You think all those guys who would have been at strip clubs, well, those places are all closed.
Right. Exactly. Anyway, this story, this is interesting. An influencer's OnlyFans account was deleted after she sold a naked childhood video of herself. And I guess it was just a video from like when she was a little kid, and if that's child pornography, then uh, mom has a photo album at home with a lot of kiddie porn featuring me
No,
in
yeah.
it
See,
because I refused to wear clothes when I was a little kid. Man.
yeah. Part of me says pornography. I mean, there's a difference between naked and nude, right?
Well,
I mean, like, what? Functionally, maybe not, but a little baby is naked. A little baby isn't nude.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
And so, like, I'm not sure if yeah. Part of me said like the intent for which the pictures were taken has to be uh you know you can't yeah. So yeah, the little pictures of Brian as a baby probably wouldn't be kiddie porn um, because of the intent for which the pictures were taken. But I'm
Mhm.
not very sure that I think about it. Maybe I'm talking too much right now. That sounds like something I need to get smart
Well,
on.
I think yeah, I don't know, man. You may want to be careful talking about intent.
Well, and that's the that's where I said to myself, yeah, you should probably if you haven't blown your leg off yet, take a step away from the landmine.
Gotcha.
But I just want to read a quick definition of the word pornography.
I didn't know. I thought it was one of those things that you only know it when you see it. Proceed. Proceed.
Pornography, often shortened to porn, is a portrayal of sexual subject matter for the exclusive purpose of sexual arousal. So I think that's the intent piece. For
Okay.
the exclusive purpose of sexual arousal. Pornography may be presented in a variety of media, including magazines, animation, writings, film, video games. Video games. Um, the term does not include live exhibitions like sex shows and strip teases. Wow, I didn't know that either. primary subject of present-day pornographic depictions are pornographic models who pose for still photos, pornographic actors who engage in film sex acts. Right. So, yeah, yeah, I might. Yeah, you want to read the story?
I can if you want.
Well, I'm sure there's some portion of it that's noteworthy.
Gabby DiMartino is seen on a boat during the filming of a music video for her new song Champagne Dream on August 5th, 2020 in Cape May, New Jersey. Gabby DiMartino, an influencer with more than 3 million YouTube subscribers, said she took down her OnlyFans page after outrage erupted over a video she sold containing underage nudity. The short home video, which DiMartino captioned, "Won't Put My Panties On," showed DiMartino as a child lifting her dress to show herself naked. She sold it for $3. Critics accused DiMartino of selling unsuspecting fans inappropriate underage sexual content. DiMartino told Insider her OnlyFans wasn't sexual, but some past posts were sexual in nature. OnlyFans contradicted DiMartino's account and told Insider the page was removed for violating its policies. So they don't. The piece of information that I'd want to see from here is they didn't say how old she was in this video.
Yeah, but
underage could be anything from 18 to 1.
Yeah.
0, I guess. I think that she sold this video that said "Won't Put My Panties On," and a bunch of pervs, not pervs, but horny young men. And some
no,
women,
but I mean, I guess depending upon how old she is.
Let me buy this, and then they felt like they got gypped because they was wanting to see.
Full age Gabby DiMartino.
Right, exactly. I don't know though.
Should they slap the cuffs on her?
No.
If it's kitty porn, that's that's against the law.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not calling for justice.
I don't know, man. It's I don't think it was kitty porn. I don't think it was. I think it was just some home video that her parents took of her when she was a little kid, and she just thought she'd make a buck off of it, or maybe crack a joke. Thought she was being funny or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. If you apply the high test, the high standard, is there underage nudity? Yes. Is it being consumed? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's no Joe high test, but yeah, I think that might be. Yeah, it's porn. Lock her up. Her and lock her up. I take a hard line against kitty porn, man. That didn't feel as heroic as I thought it would. Saying that.
Well, I'm thinking. Read that definition of pornography again.
It is. Pornography, often short as porn, is a portrayal of sexual subject matter for the exclusive purpose of sexual arousal.
So, I mean, for for conversation purposes here, if let's say it was a, it was a picture of her, a 5-year-old Gabby in the backyard, and they're just whatever, and her mom was like, you should put on some clothes, panties, and she's like, no, and she flips her dress up. And, I mean, is that the intent of that? There was nothing sexual about it. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't people who might
construe it as such.
Get aroused by stuff like that, but is that her problem? I don't know. I mean,
well, part of me says, like, the title won't put my panties on.
That's clickbaity. It's like clickbait.
Oh no, but I mean that's the part of the exclusive. Like, the intent here was to arouse people, right?
I will admit that because of the nature of that website in general.
Exactly. Had it been on like America's Funniest Home Videos or Gerber's website, no one would be talking about it. But because it was on fans only, I think the
all right, man. I say lock her up.
Yeah. Well, once again, we're brothers again, man.
Yeah, I can get behind lock. The world's not going to miss one
YouTuber.
Insta-ho. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're making progress, man. We're saving the world.
What else do I have on the agenda here? Oh yes. Oh, Joe.
Yes, right.
I would almost put this under skullduggery. Simply shocking. Republican-led U.S. Senate's first major legislation after the 2020 election is to appease big tech. And so instead of addressing the problems with Section 230, since the tech companies are obviously editors of content now, which is absolutely true, and the shocking election fraud that occurred in the 2020 election, probably. The U.S. Senate passed Senator Mike Lee's Visa Guest Worker Bill. He has been pushing this for years to bring in more cheap labor for U.S. companies while stealing good paying tech jobs from U.S. workers. So here's what I have to say to all of you senators, Republican senators, and I'm going to say this because I'm specifically making a point to curb my curse words. So
what?
I am.
Wait. What? You're huh?
I am. Haven't you noticed? My curses have been way down these past couple shows.
Yeah, I have noticed. I'm like, I've been thinking to myself, man, I think Brian might be sick. I mean, I need to, have like an intervention.
No, this is a good thing.
No.
But I do want to say this to all the Republicans in the Senate is, as far as I'm concerned, they can eat excrement and then promptly assume room temperature.
Is that your way of telling people to eat SHIT and DIE?
Yes, sir, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a little while to get it out.
A few more syllables.
But I just wish that we could just give the entire Senate and House, at least on the Republican side, a big douche and just clean it all out.
Wait a minute, that's your side, man. This is this is blue on blue fire.
I'm no, I mean, I guess it's by default my side, but I've said for a while now, man. I see it more as an elites versus the rest of us, and they use, Republican, Democrat, red versus blue as just ways to keep us bickering with each other while they steal the country. I really have no, I don't have love for any real Republicans or, yeah, yeah.
Speaking of stealing the country, did you hear about Trump threatening to veto the defense authorization bill?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Okay, so apparently Trump is threatening to veto the defense authorization bill unless they deal and get rid of Section 230. Wasn't that on one of your wish lists that somebody do something about 230?
Well, something needs to be done with 230, but I don't think that it needs. I don't want it. I don't think it needs to be eliminated because we already have because the only thing that eliminating that will do is companies like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, companies that have already made billions of dollars and are just fine. They will say, okay, fine, we are editors, and then they'll just continue doing what they've always done. But it's the smaller websites that don't have billions of dollars that will get sued out of existence the first time somebody posts something criminal or something on their site. Getting rid of it will only hurt the smaller sites, and the people that it's that Trump wants to punish, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I can imagine them crafting it in such a way that says, hey, if you're a company that's, under this amount of capitalization or X, Y, and Z, there are ways to separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak.
Well, if that could be done legally, then that's what needs to be done, because just blanket getting rid of it is a horrible idea. I hope it don't happen.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a blanket, just tear it out of the law books now. But we could do some research on that. Get smart on the issue.
Yeah, but I mean, banning it or abolishing it or whatever, not the right answer. But I agree that these companies need to. These companies that do edit their content need to be held to other standards and not protected by this 230, this section 230. It's just, let them get sued and
the section I want to change?
what's that?
I want to change the section that says everything you produce on that little on whatever platform is no longer your intellectual property.
The terms of service, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing that I don't think people realize, and that's a really good point that you make.
They're like, it's ours now.
Essentially, it is. They can use it to make money, sell out. It's I don't know. Terms of service should be like 2 or 3 sentences. Period. It's been this way since the beginning of software, but a terms of service really is just 10 pages of legalese that obviously no one is ever going to read.
Yeah, there's probably for the cell phone contracts that we all have, let's say for T-Mobile, there's probably maybe 10, 15 people, probably more than that, maybe 20 people who've actually gone through and read all of it and can speak.
Not 15, not 15, but probably 20.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a huge jump, but yeah, it's a very small number.
Yeah, I can't remember what service it was. It's one of these. It might be my cell phone provider, which is Ting. It's not one of the big. It's not one of the big companies. Ting, Ting.
That's why we always have problems when I call you.
Maybe, but they're a reseller of other. I think my cell service is technically on.
Yeah, they're getting that secondary bandwidth, the leftovers.
Maybe that's it, but I don't know if it was them or maybe it's my hosting provider or what. But they did I got an email from them and they said we're updating our terms of service. And then they had a second, and it was like, you can read it below if you want, but here's a quick one-sentence synopsis of what's changing. And that's refreshing.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just think all terms of services should be written for the lay person, not a lawyer.
Yeah, but if they do that, do you have any idea how much harder it would be to screw the masses?
Oh, we can't have that.
I mean, you can't have the masses going around here being unscrewed, can you?
Or being educated?
Yeah, no. Yeah. We don't have time for all that.
Nope. Well, you know what, Joe? We're at the end of our agenda, except for the skullduggery, but we're only like at an hour and a half, man. We've got plenty of time.
Holy crap!
I'm looking down through the show notes here, and there's some. What did I see?
I mean,
I guess we did cover everything. But I do have some more clips that I feel like we should at least power through.
Want to power through them and have 30 seconds of comments afterwards?
If there's anything to comment on, this is back to the vaccines. And I think this is maybe a station RTE1 Ireland. It may be, and I think this is a promotion, like a commercial maybe that they ran for advocating vaccines, and of course they. Listen to it.
What happens next?
Now he gets medicine to help him with coronavirus.
Oh, great. So did he actually have the virus?
I think so.
Okay.
And over here is the regurgitation station.
What's that?
If he needs to vomit.
Oh, I see.
After the medicine.
Okay.
Now we need to get him a Pfizer vaccine.
Gosh, you don't waste time, do you, Saoirse? You're ahead of the game. So does he like...
He's not participating, so we're going to have to knock him out.
Okay. Tony's having a rough day at the clinic. Okay, so you've knocked him out.
Now we need to just check if he's still with us.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yep, he's still with us.
He's still with us. Okay, this is great. This is a story of survival, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So what happens
now
next?
He gets the Pfizer vaccine.
Bang. Okay. And now?
He has to stay in this pod for the next 87 days.
That's a serious quarantine.
Because there's a backlog with the HSE.
Oh, I see. Okay, they love that. Yeah. Okay. So you're going to leave him in there for 87 days. Okay.
And according to the Department of Education, schools are safe.
Yeah, kids on TV are annoying.
Yeah, but they can sure sell Pfizer vaccines. So this is something that's not reported a lot. And again, I say that the U.S. media is derelict in its duty, at least these past 4 years. They don't.
I would say if you're saying they're derelict in their duty, you may need to ask yourself what do you think their duty is. You may be giving them too much credit.
Well, I mean, how much can you really think of watching any news this past year? How much do you hear anything about what happens in other places around the world? Really?
I mean, I get your point. They're not, that whole bomb, not bomb, the boat that blew up in Beirut. But yeah, I get your point. There's not very much, with all the information technology and communication technology, the world has not become that much smaller.
I took an unnecessary dig at the media. But all I want to point. This clip is about other countries are also getting fed up with these lockdowns, and this is recorded in the United Kingdom at the Speaker's Corner, which I think is a pretty popular
gathering spot.
A landmark gathering spot. Yeah.
Choose your side! 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 Choose your side!
Now I believe what they're saying is choose your side, and it's a showdown with police, and that's their chant is choose your side.
Choose your side! 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 Choose your side!
I'm glad you said that because I thought they were saying do your job.
Yeah, I think it was choose your side, and yeah, it's just other countries are getting fed up with all this as well, and we've probably heard about this. This is a Buffalo business owner, and also I don't know who he's talking to. I can't read what the rest of this clip says.
Yeah, I can't understand you.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I was mumbling. This is one more clip.
Compassionate side. I know you're taxpayer. Our tax dollars guarantee your guys' paychecks. But some of these people actually work for their money, and they don't want to lose their livelihood. I've lost friends, I've lost family who've killed themselves. I've seen clients die because they've lost their livelihood.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I know you are, and I'm asking for you to guys have some compassion for the people that have lost everything.
We do have compassion for people who.
Okay, well, you need to go have compassion out in the parking lot. But this is private property. This is private property. This is private property. It's private property. Go get a warrant. Listen, man, this is private property. They're not wanted here. So do your jobs.
Well, her job is.
Well, no. Your job is to remove people that are not wanted here.
You have a
We're wanted here. They're not.
She's hiding her name
tag. She had her I'm not. It's right here. It's right here. You can see my name.
They're just doing their job.
There we go.
You should all be wearing masks. How come
I'm not doing
have
anything
masks
wrong.
on?
Don't worry about my health. My health isn't your
You're
concern.
meant to be wearing a mask. It's a government.
Okay, well then write me up.
It's the law.
Okay, then take me to jail.
It's not the law.
Then take me to jail.
Show me the law.
Show me the law. Show me the law. Okay, miss, you need to leave.
I want to
Get out! 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 Get out!
No, now they got to get off the property. We don't want them off the property.
Dude, just because the Black Lives Matter
You guys are off the property. You're not welcome here.
I don't know. So it makes me happy to see that at least people are pushing back. But,
Okay, so sorry. Who? I mean, was it a cop that was there? Who was the person?
Yeah, I believe that there were 2 police officers that went into this business to make people disperse, and the people pushed back.
I think those cops were likely well within their right to be doing that.
Maybe, but they left.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
I don't know, man. I mean, we're not that far away from police coming into your house, and if someone drops a dime on you, police coming into your house and making people leave or making people comply.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I didn't include it, but there was a story. I think there was a story. I think it was from Vermont or Connecticut or something, where teachers were going to basically interrogate kids to find out what their parents did over Thanksgiving. You know? Did you have people come to your house? You know, stuff like that. It's just
now they're
I'm not purposefully being over dramatic, but isn't that the kind of crap that happened in Nazi Germany or communist Russia? You know, neighbors dropping the dime on neighbors to for whatever reason. I mean,
yeah, they're turning the kids into narcs.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm going back to the, it's just we're losing freedoms, we're losing privacy, and
well, if I recall correctly, privacy is not specifically enumerated in the Constitution anywhere.
There is a section about being secure in your own home or something like that, right?
No, like I think it's like it's like 3 of the I can't remember which 3. It's like 3 of the Bill of Rights have been, when read together, could be construed as a right of privacy, but there's no specific. The word privacy is never mentioned in the document. Like the right to privacy is a
There's a lot of things that is not mentioned in the Constitution that.
Oh, but I thought I heard you say a right to privacy.
Yeah, well, I'm referring to Jones' final comment. Privacy is gone. Can we take it back?
Fair enough.
And I need to do some quick research, but because I think you're wrong that there's not that we don't have a right to privacy. But
if you find right to privacy, those 3 words in the Constitution, I'll be like, hey, you know what, I dropped.
Well, you won't find the right to kill an unborn baby in the Constitution either, but we found it.
Okay. The gauntlet has been thrown down, and I guess we're off to the races on that one.
I don't know. I guess the only thing, the 4th Amendment protects the right of privacy against unreasonable searches and seizures by the government.
For a moment.
The right to privacy is alluded to in the 4th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which states the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue based but upon probable cause supported by oath. So so maybe I won't find the word right to privacy, but I will. But it's there in meaning without a doubt.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I said, I put that bet out there quite deliberately. And like I said, I think it's like the second, third, and fourth amendments or something like that. Not the second. But I know that it's a they derive the right to privacy not by finding those words written anywhere. Well, they said, oh, well, we've got this, and we've got this, and we've got that. That the word they just used alludes to, but something that's alluded to isn't explicitly stated.
Well, let me rephrase what I said. We are losing our right to be secure in our houses.
Well, if you're in New York City, yes.
You know what? I have another clip here, and I should have got to this like 2 weeks ago. But are you familiar at all with that mysterious monolith that showed up out of nowhere in the Utah desert? Did you see that story anywhere?
Yeah, I did see. I did see it appearing and disappearing.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, it was there, and then then it was gone. I think this is before it disappeared, but I got one more clip here. Let's see if they tell us anything good.
Captain's log, stardate 11/18/2020. The crew of the Utah DPS helicopter traveled to southern Utah on a mission to count bighorn life forms with wildlife officers.
And, he's like, whoa, turn around. And I was like, what? And he's like, there's this thing back there. We got to go look at it.
The crew had spotted an object of unknown origin on the red surface.
Okay, the intrepid explorers go down to investigate the alien life form.
In the middle of the barren desert stood a mysterious metal monolith.
I would say it's probably between 10 and 12 feet high.
This is wild.
Kind of joking around that if one of us suddenly disappears, then I guess the rest of us make a run for it. So
Pilot Brett Hutchins says it didn't look like it was dropped there. It was firmly planted into the ground.
Like thinking, okay, is this something NASA stuck up there or something? Are they bouncing satellites off it or something?
It seemed less scientific and more artistic.
I'm assuming it is, some new wave artist or something, somebody that just is a big 2001 Space Odyssey fan.
The similarity to the space movie was unmistakable, as was the bizarre effect it had on observers.
It just was kind of unusual stuff.
The universe is filled with the unexplained, and this journey to southern Utah only raised more questions. As the crew headed home, they only wished they had the answers.
Yeah, we've never, I have to admit, that's been about the strangest thing that I've come across out there in all the years of flying.
So a metal
pole. Yeah, it's interesting, but I mean, come on. If you found that and you're truly interested in it, tell me some more about it. How far down in the ground does it go? I mean, is it just sitting there, or how far down does it go? That would tell you a lot. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could have been done to determine what this thing was, but instead they just was like, oh, well, that's peculiar. Let's go home. and then it's like gone the next day. It's like, I don't know. It's just, it is a bizarre story.
Yeah, you know what? I think that you or I should have found that thing.
There's stuff. We could have. If anything, I would have. Even if it was just me and I didn't have any tools with me, I'd have at least used my hands to kind of like try to dig around the base of it to see if it went into the ground any, or
yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed. It seemed like there was a lack of interest. I mean, it was like they was just like, well, that's interesting, but that's all. Let's go home. No need to investigate more.
Yeah, these intrepid explorers weren't all that intrepid.
Yeah, they sounded like a bunch of nerds anyway.
Hey, oh, look at this! Obelisk, a monolith. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's
exactly.
Let's go.
You'd think they'd be more interested in it, but Anyway,
Yeah, I probably would have taken that thing home.
But you know what? You would have taken it home. Oh, dude, you remember when we took that blue moon neon sign out from 20 Mile?
Yeah, are you admitting to stuff that didn't happen?
Yeah, it never happened, but
Yeah.
but that place is long gone. And you know what? We ended up taking it back.
Yeah, we should have kept that sign.
I know.
Next time, man. Next time.
That was a trip. I went up in there and ran interference, stood there and. Anyway, that's beside the point, man.
Beside the point.
Yeah, there's Let me check the time here because I'm going to ramble for a couple of minutes. Yeah, okay. We've been regularly going past 2 hours. So. But what this reminds me of is there's this, I'll call it a phenomenon, in the whole realm of like supernatural, whatever. There's the ghosts, there's the cryptids and aliens and stuff like that. But there's this almost like an entire subgenre called, I don't know if it's what it's really called, but there's like one person who wrote a series of books on it called Missing 411. And it's about the phenomenon of people each year going missing in America's national parks.
What?
Yeah, it's about them missing, but then when they're found, they're like a little kid going missing and then being found 100 miles away or something. Is this something unreasonable that there's no way that a little kid could have made it that far alive? It's just weird stories, and someone started documenting them. But there was a. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There was a thread on Reddit about it that some search and rescue person, he's like, I'm a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service. I have some stories to tell. And anyway, there's the last story. All of the stories are like just weird, but that kind of reference the whole 411 thing. But this is this last story I want to read because when I seen that story about the monolith that just showed up out of nowhere like that in the most unusual place, it reminded me of this.
All right.
And so I'm reading this from this Reddit thread. This is the last one I'll tell, and it's probably the weirdest story I have. Now, I don't know if this is true in every SAR unit, search and rescue unit, but in mine, it's sort of an unspoken, regular thing we run into. You can try asking about it with other search and rescue officers, but even if they know what you're talking about, they probably won't say anything about it. We've been told not to talk about it by our superiors, and at this point, we've all gotten so used to it that it doesn't even seem weird anymore.
Okay.
On just about every case where we're really far into the wilderness, I'm talking 30 or 40 miles, at some point, we'll find a staircase in the middle of the woods. It's almost like if you took the stairs in your house, cut them out, and put them in the forest. I asked about it the first time I saw some, and the other officer just told me not to worry about it, that it was normal. Everyone I asked said the same thing. I wanted to go check them out, but I was told very emphatically that I should never go near them, any of them. I just sort of ignore them now, and when I run into them, because it happens when I run into them because it happens so frequently.
You know what? That's probably some really good advice. If you are 30, 40 miles out into the wilderness and you just see a random staircase, it's probably best to just leave that alone.
I'm with you, brother.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially if that happens regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a trip, man. But that story always stuck with me, just because of just how bizarre it was.
Yeah.
And I try to think, what would I do if I seen something like that?
You know what I would do? I would take my cell phone, take a picture.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
Wait. Quick question. On this Reddit feed, does anyone have a picture showing one of these random staircases?
Nope, I don't see. But isn't that perfect for a conspiracy?
No, to me that makes it seem less likely.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'm sure I've said something about this before. You know, everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame, and if it's out there, random staircase 30, 40 miles out in the wilderness, somebody's taking a picture of it. So, if you know, like 100 years ago, you could say, "Oh yeah, this thing was out there, and all these people saw it, but no one took a picture of it." And okay, well, hey, back in the 50s, yeah, that makes sense. No, not everybody had a camera, but now that doesn't fly.
Yeah, I feel you, man. What do you think? You in the mood for some skullduggerous stories?
Always.
All right, man. I got two good ones here. Florida man uses $4 million in COVID relief to buy a Lamborghini.
That sounds.
Hell yeah.
That sounds like right up Florida man's avenue.
It does sound like a Florida man thing, don't it? A Florida man was arrested on multiple charges, including bank fraud, after using part of nearly $4 million in PPP loans to buy a Lamborghini and other high-end luxury items.
You know what?
Yeah, you can't just buy a Lamborghini and nothing else. You gotta have some other stuff.
Yeah, you apply for one of these PPP loans, and the next thing you do is you show up at a Lambo and no one has questions. Really?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
you figured he'd be. I mean, huh?
I'd be a lot more subtle about it. Like, well, first of all, I wouldn't have bought the Lamborghini. Like as soon as I got the money, I'd sit on that money for a while.
Oh yeah, I probably would I probably would go full bore criminal. I'd probably oh yeah, I've got 5 employees, and I paid them this much, and this is the receipts, and their names are Louie, Dewey, and Huey, and Brian and Joe, and yep, they got the money, and
yeah.
But to go on to that's just dumb.
It's very dumb. 29-year-old David Hines in Miami was arrested and charged with bank fraud, making false statements to a financial institution, and engaging in transactions in unlawful proceeds.
I wonder how long he had his Lambo before the feds swooped in on him.
I hope he at least had it for I hope he at least got a little bit of good use out of it.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that thing you used to say about your car.
What did I say about my car, man?
About how it'd be getting all the panties if it wasn't for you.
I knew that's what you was talking about.
I'm sorry, I'm predictable.
Yeah, that car. Yeah, the car would definitely be getting the panties. They don't. I didn't see a picture of this dude, so I don't know. I don't know what he looked like. Also, now this here is plane passenger sticks gum in woman's hair because she purposely kept flipping it over the seat. In a viral TikTok video shows why it might be in your best interest to be considerate of your fellow passengers on a commercial airline. The video posted by someone allegedly shows the revenge another plane passenger got on a woman sitting in front of her who kept tossing her hair over the seat and blocking the TV screen. That's just wrong. The video starts with the frustrated passenger firmly matting a wadded gun into the other woman's long hair as it's draped over the TV. She pauses her antics briefly as a flight attendant walks by. Then she picks up some nail clippers and begins carefully snipping off random strands. After that, a lollipop gets added to the sticky mess, and the whole thing is dumped in a travel mug, presumably filled with coffee. Jumps ahead shows the woman in front repeatedly continuing to toss her hair back, even as the passenger who sacrificed her gum and her coffee for this revenge
Sacrificed your gum and coffee.
keeps throwing the hair back onto the other side of the seat. How did this woman with the hair not realize that all this junk was in her hair?
There's
gum and lollipop?
I figured it started getting heavy.
Yeah. Start sticking to other things. That's bizarre, but you know what?
So who's more wrong in that scenario?
Nothing. I just don't like inconsiderate people, man. And I think I go out of my way to be considerate. And if I do something that I think that I might think was inconsiderate or something that I think might have bothered someone, it'll bother me. It'll bother me like the rest of the day. I'm just that way, I guess. But I think I'm hypersensitive about.
Yes, Brian, the delicate flower.
But so when people are doing something, and what this woman was doing was just, it's just.
I mean, what the lady was doing was just short of like a middle finger to the face.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm assuming that the lady was like, hey, your hair is like covering the screen. Could you please not do that? But I'm assuming she did that first. But,
but that chick must have been pretty tall. Yeah, the person. I mean, most people in an airplane, they can't just like put their head back and it covers. I mean,
I'll be honest, I've only been on a plane once, so, but I don't know, man. I mean, women can have some pretty long hair.
That is true. That is true. You got those Amish.
What? Amish? What?
Yeah, sorry, Amish. They all have long hair, don't they?
I don't know. They might, but I don't think they fly on planes.
Yeah, actually they do.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think it's varying. I think it's like very. I think some will not, but I know that there are some.
Yeah.
Sects that will like pay people to drive in places and stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because every time I go to an airport, there's always Amish there.
Yeah. But are Amish or are they Mennonite?
I think a lot Amish. The Mennonites are the people who can use technology and they blend in quite well. The Amish are the ones that stick out.
You know what? I don't know, but I know that I don't know. Well, if it was an Amish woman, she got what she deserved anyway. She ain't special.
Nah. Take that blonde stuff someplace. Take that hair someplace else.
Yeah. Chop it off.
So is that our show?
I think that's our show.
That's our show.
That's our show. If you're still listening, Thank you for hanging around. And here's the thing, and I'm springing this on you, Joe. We mentioned it last week, but for people who are still listening, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, Joe, you have to get these episodes posted on YouTube.
Say that again?
You need to get these episodes posted on YouTube. Last week's and this week's. This episode. You need to get these uploaded to YouTube. And here's what we're going to do. Because you're listening to the end here, I want you to go to this episode on YouTube and just leave a comment. It can be a good comment. It can be a bad comment. I don't care what it is. Just leave a comment on this episode, and I will, let's see, I will do this until, let's say, up until Wednesday, up until we record next week's show, which would be Thursday.
Oh, I mean, if you get this to me tonight or tomorrow, I'll get it up tomorrow.
Okay. So people, if you're still listening, and Joe's going to get this posted, leave a comment, and then I will randomly choose someone out of the comments. I will collect the names. I will randomly pick someone, and I will even write the actual program that does the random, that chooses the random name automatically, and I will personally send you a $50 Amazon gift card.
Wait! You said $50?
$50, Joe.
Okay.
And that's out of my own pocket, man. $50.
Okay.
I will, and that's because I appreciate people who hang around this long and listen. Now, you can't do this, Joe, but anyone else can.
Once again, anti-Joe sentiment.
I'm sorry I had to write the law that way.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see, and yeah, just I think it'll be fun just to see. And obviously, if you're leaving a comment, please at least subscribe and like. But yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be fun to see. This will be a fun way to gauge how long. And you don't have to be listening to this on YouTube. You can listen to this however you want to, on a podcast or from the website or however. Just you have to go to YouTube to YouTube and leave a comment. So, like I said, a good comment, a bad comment, whatever, and I'll collect those names and randomly pick a winner, and I will fork out my hard-earned money for a YouTube gift card. And I think you can do all this digitally now. I'll email it to you, and yeah.
Okay, so you can get a piece of the rock.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So, yeah, join us here in 7 days to find out who the winner was. And also join in all the fun that we're going to have. Joe, as always, it's been a pleasure. You and I will chat later.
It has been a pleasure.
Take care.
Take care, guy.